a dynamic effort squat session at Super Training. This is Taco Truck. Taco Truck's about 6'7". You see those long legs going there. We're using the safety squat bar, and that Jim Sheffield's using the cambered bar. Both the bars just mess up your center of gravity a little bit. The cambered bar will pitch you forward because it will kind of swing. The safety bar will pitch you forward just because it rests up high on your upper back. It'll actually help build up your upper back. You can see as Taco Truck's coming up off the box, he's got a slight fold in the mid to upper back. It's not ideal, but it's going to help build up that area for him a lot. And then again, the cambered bar is going to swing on you a little bit, so you can see Big Jim Sheffield is really stabilizing that. Here's Ryan Spencer going through a little bit of a grinder. Ryan's dynamic days are quite different than the rest of us because he doesn't get to come in and train as much as a lot of us because he actually has a real job. But when he does come in here on his Saturdays, we have a large group. The intensity is real good, so he just says, screw it, I'm just going to go heavy. So he does a little bit heavier training on that day. So I'm just getting warmed up here, just first couple sets in the briefs. On this day, we also utilize 200 pounds of chains. Chains are accommodating resistance, and the chains are quite different than the bands because the chains deload pretty much 100% at the bottom, or maybe 90% at the bottom. So the chains are almost weightless at the bottom, and then you're getting probably 150, 160 pounds or so at the top because there's still some chains dangling on the floor. With the bands are going to be tight at the bottom and pretty much tight all the way through, but they're going to be a lot more tension on the bands at the bottom of the lift. So here's Spencer going again. And you're going to notice throughout this video, I'm working with guys on trying to point their feet a little bit more forward. And the reason for that is you can create more torque through your hip. It's not ideal for everybody to have their feet completely straight forward. So you'll have to play with it and mess around with it for yourself. You still want to force the knees out hard. Also, having the feet forward, having your feet pointed straight ahead, is also going to help lock your back in. And you're going to see a really good example of it as we get towards the end of this video. Here's Treston Scholl. Treston just has unbelievable squat form, unbelievable power and speed. He's able to really generate a lot of force on the speed days. David Baffis had a good day on this day as well. We all got a lot of volume in on this day, and we've, from a lot of articles and a lot of talks with Louis Simmons, and even the stuff we do here at Super Training, we realize that it's a big mistake to cut out the volume. You try to increase the intensity, increase the weight, and you cut back on the volume too much, and I think that was a big piece of the puzzle I was missing for a while, and that's why my squat mojo was all jacked up. We brought the volume back up, and sure enough, everyone's squat went back up. Everyone's deadlift even went back up. But you just have to kind of monitor it for yourself. I like to use a lot of different weights on my speed day. I don't do 10 sets of 2 with 500 pounds all the way through. It's just too boring for me. It doesn't fulfill my ADD that I have going on. So I'll use some different weights. I'll do 3 sets with a certain weight, another 3 sets with another certain weight, until I finish my workout. But I won't work up so heavy that it ruins the whole purpose of the day. I'd like you guys out there to pause your YouTube as some of these guys get down to the box and take a look at the positioning that they're in. Also look at the different body types that we have going and try to mimic, if you guys are newer out there, try to mimic what you're seeing some of these guys doing. Things get a little wild right here. See, at Super Training, because we're teammates, we're very protective. And even though it's an air squat, Treston is right behind him. And then David gets concerned, and he comes over for a spot. And then we got Robot, who's standing on a box, leaps down, and decides to get out of dodge because he was nervous about the whole situation. He wasn't sure what was going on. But I'm talking a lot to Ryan about having those feet pointed forward. It's something we're working on. You'll see the next set, he'll point his feet forward. See, now I'm starting to get these sets locked in. We're starting to go up in weight a little bit. On this particular day, although we did get a lot of work in, we did work up. We actually worked up to a single rep max. And the reason for that was this was the third week of the safety bar. So we did two previous weeks. The first week was just straight up speed work. The second week was pretty much straight up speed work with a few less sets, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 8 to 10 sets of 2 reps, with a small workup of a nice double at the end. And then the third week, we did about 6 sets of 2, which is this week, and then we worked up to a heavy single. So you see Ryan now has his feet pointed a little bit more forward. It's a little squirrely for him, but you can see how good the lockout is. There I am working on some grip. You never have too much grip. And I'm trying to stabilize everything, getting air into the stomach, trying to blow my face out, make it as fat as disgusting as possible. Here's Treston. You can see down fast, up fast, down fast, up fast. Really drills those squats out. Treston sometimes has a little hard time with the lockout of his squats and his deadlift, so it's something that he's really been trying to focus on, just driving right through it. Taco Truck does a lot of raw work with us. He actually is a trainer here at Super Training at Midtown Strength and Conditioning. Works with a lot of fighters, a lot of guys that are now in the UFC actually. Here's Spence again working on that forward foot position, so let's see how it works out for him here. See, the knees are still coming out, the form is still all the same. That set was a little better than the previous one, but he is falling on the box just a little bit. But anytime you try something new, it's going to be a little bit of a kick in the balls. You gotta work on it. You got to see how it feels for yourself. And the feet forward, like I mentioned earlier, it's not going to be for everybody. I just think that you could be losing a lot of hip torque if your feet are just pointed out too wide. So we're looking for straight-ish is what we're looking for. Also, you want to make your training harder than the contest, and that's why we're going such wide stances here. Treston actually pretty much squats with that stance all the time because he's a supple leopard. He's very flexible and mobile. But for myself, my stance is not quite that wide in the contest. It's just too hard for me to get down to parallel. So I'll bring my stance in just a tiny bit, maybe about 1 inch on each side for the contest. Allow me to get down in there a little better. But by training real wide, you're training those hips up. So now we're starting to get in some real big weights here, starting to load those things up. Treston's excited. He loves raw work. So here I am just kind of talking shit. I'm hoping that Treston will fall flat on his face because he and I are knee deep in a battle here. And Treston is a really good squatter, so he was hoping to kick my ass today, and I was hoping to kick his. The big dude, he's got a lot of good control, and just he hammered that one out without much of a problem at all, really. Ryan's a smaller guy, so he's got to take a little bit longer on his setups. It's real important for him to really bear down on that belt, push his stomach out on that belt, and almost like you're trying to make the belt explode off your body, basically. David's doing a real good job staying tight. If you don't know what staying tight is, just have someone whack you in the gut, and that's how tight your stomach should be. This is now 735 pounds with 200 pounds of chains on there. And again, that's the feet are still forward. I've been working on it for the last about 2 months. And Treston has his feet pointed out a lot more than I do. And you see his lower back gives up on him. I'm not saying 100% that I could say for sure if his feet were pointed forward that he would have made that lift. But it's made a huge difference in my training. I've noticed a big difference with it locking down the back and just also allowing me to get my hips through in the transition and all the way through the top of the lift. a good lift there by David Baffis. And that's it from Super Training.